Now we're on chapter 12. So let's look at that for module 2. And this one is talking about economic growth across different countries. And here we're looking at questions 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Again, keep in mind, I just posted from the latest edition of the book because that's the one I have available to me. So that's the thing I'm getting the PDFs from. You may have different questions. They're kind of more or less the same. And don't worry if yours aren't exactly what are here. If you're using this as your guide for the questions, that's fine. I will figure it out. Even if you're using a different version of the book, I will figure it out. I'm a pretty smart guy, at least when it comes to this kind of stuff. Okay, so let's look at number 2. So in number 2, we say that society decided to reduce consumption and increase investment. How would this change economic growth? Well, one of the things that we learned about in terms of the theory is that if the country then increases its amount that's spent on investment, it's going to help the country grow a lot faster. And what groups in society would benefit from this change? What groups might be hurt? So the groups that would benefit from this change, that would be things like construction, for instance, manufacturing would be helped, banks would obviously be helped. In terms of the groups that would be hurt, well, that would be things like restaurants, you know, disposable goods, you know, kind of consumption goods that people just spend money on, um, you know, services like haircuts, things like that. Let's see if that's all here. More faster there. Yeah, investment goods, yeah. So that's kind of the explanation here of what's going on here. Okay, let's look at number 4. What is the opportunity cost of investing in capital? So, opportunity cost, remember, is the alternative foregone. What are you giving up? And so, the thing that's being given up would be obviously consumption. Do you think a country can overinvest in capital? Yes, absolutely. Right. The overinvestment would occur when the marginal benefit to investing in more capital, the return basically from that capital, exceeds what, you know, if people are living in poverty but they're saving too much, that's obviously indicates a problem that you're over saving, you're over investing in capital. Was the opportunity cost of investing in human capital? That would be education. Well, that would mean you know, physical capital. That would be one of the opportunity costs, or even just consumption. Um, do you think a country can overinvest in human capital? Yes, it can, especially if the jobs don't require the training that everyone is getting. Let's look at what the answers are here. Yeah, so essentially all that I just said. Ah, see, even if the best jobs in PhD in philosophy could find is managing a restaurant. I guess the author of the answer key agrees with me here, at least in this case. Number 5. In the 1990s and the early 2000s, investors from Asian economies made significant direct and portfolio investments in the US. In what ways was it better for the US to receive this foreign investment than not receive it? Well, the benefit to getting this money, these investments, would be if we're not saving enough domestically and we need those investments to be able to make us more productive workers, that's where we're going to see the benefit to getting it. Who cares if it comes from abroad? I mean, as long as it's making us more productive workers, that's where the benefit lies. In what way would it have been even better for Americans who have made this investment themselves? Well, if we had made this investment ourselves, then it would have required us to consume less, but it would have also helped the value of the dollar stay a little cheaper, which would have obviously helped us in exporting goods. So there you would have had that kind of benefit. Plus, there's the whole fact that the higher rate of return is going to be captured would be captured by Americans then instead of that money being sent abroad. So that's probably what we're going to see right here. Yeah. You would think I was reading this ahead of time, but I'm really not. I'm actually just reading it as soon as I'm reading it here. Number 6. In many developing nations, young women have lower enrollment rates in secondary school than young men. Describes several ways in which greater educational opportunities for young women could lead to faster economic growth in these countries. Um, well, I'm trying to think of what's the most polite way to answer this. Because I really don't want to get into any controversy here. The controversy comes for a country, for instance, like Ethiopia, which for decades had not enough young women in secondary school or going to college, and they changed that. Um, and it's helped Ethiopia actually become the fastest growing country in sub-Saharan Africa. So, um, why did that happen? Well, because now jobs can be taken by women who are well educated, and they don't have to. A company doesn't have to substitute for a lower educated man. Um, Additionally, when a woman is in the labor force as well as the man, what you would find is that you obviously get different ideas in the workplace that leads to greater productivity, but then um, you also see the development of all these other services that are required when childcare, for instance, has to be outsourced to a daycare, right? Or food comes from restaurants. That's all going to increase economic growth. Let's see what the answer key says here. No, okay. I don't disagree with it. Um, Number 7. International Property Right Index scores countries based on their legal and political environments and how they protect property rights. Choose 3 countries. Geez, this is a shitty question. Go online and find a recent ranking? Really? That's what they want you to do? Is that the same question here? Let's see. Or same answer here. Okay, well, it's not the same. That's good because that would have been a really shitty question. Okay, I'm guessing the old 7 is the 8. And I'm sorry now if you did number 7 based on reading this, because that's a really shitty question. Um, International data show a positive correlation between income per person and health of population. Explain how higher income leads to better health outcomes. Hopefully, that should be pretty simple. If you've got enough income, you can afford to go to the doctor when you're not feeling well. How does better health outcomes cause higher income? Well, healthier people can go to work and work well and be productive, which all causes higher income. How might the relative importance of these two hypotheses be relevant for public policy? Well, what that means is that, a program like Medicaid, which covers health care for the poor, that's a good investment because what that means is that a poor person now can be in the workforce and not have to worry about whether they're going to be healthy or not, enough to keep working. And then once they are at work, that they are productive at that job. Let's see if that's what the answer says here for number 7. That's a shitty answer for letter C. Um, I would reword letter C just to say that what it would suggest then is that it's good economic sense for the government to invest in health insurance for the poor or health programs for the poor because it helps them actually increase their income as a family because they're going to be more productive at work. Okay.